Okay, getting all over here now to put back together. So people keep leaving comments, want to know if I'm going to run this bike the way it is. Yeah, I'm going to run it with a big hole in it, sure. Yes, I'm going to put duct tape over it and use it that way too. That's stupid comments. What we're doing is mocking up. Mocking up means you put stuff together to figure out what fits with what, and make it work. Now, when I got this thing, I got a motor and I got a flywheel with 2 broken rods in it. So that was all I got. So I don't know anything about this motor except it's blown up top fuel motor, probably from the mid to late 90s. It's kind of stuff they're using back then. So I'm just trying to put it back together, and then I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it later. So for land speed racing, this motor would run in the 3-liter class, which is 3,000 cc, because it's over 122 inches. It's 2-liter. So it runs in the big boy class. The only thing above that's unlimited, which is over 3 liters. So the class records in this classing is, depending on which classes you're in, is well over 200, or it's in the 170, 80 mile an hour area. So anyway, that's what it would be in a push rod motor, probably up in the 180s. So that's your speed records this motor would run under. So that means you're going to have a pretty serious effort to make this go that fast. So what I'm doing is I'm building vintage motors. These are vintage motors. This is a push rod motor. Push rod motor means that it is made after 1956. That's what that means. The rules are you got to have a two valve head motor, because that's how Harleys come, except for that new crappy shit they make now called 8 valve motors, or M8s. So I'm not sure how that's going to work out, because it's not really too fair running an M8 against a twin cam, because right now that's how it's made. Those are the classes, so I don't know. The rules might change, but for now, 2-valve motor is a 2-valve motor. So that's on a Harley. We cannot change the number of valves in the heads, but we can change any and everything else we want to on push rod motor. It has to still have push rods, and they got to be longer than the stroke is, or something like that. I don't forget they got some formula they use. So the push rod has to be longer than the stroke, I think is how it works now, or it's 2 times the length, or some stupid number they got. Anyway, it's got to be a long push rod, not a little stubby one. It's got to be something long. So anyway, that's the rules. Now on vintage motors, which is what this one is, the rules are you have to run genuine Harley, in this case, cases and heads. Other than that, you can do whatever you want. Okay. Next rule is if it's the same material or design as what they ran in 1955 or earlier, then you can run it. So this is a 69 generator motor. There's no real difference between a 1955 generator case and this case. There's a couple oil line differences, but other than that, it's the same damn part. They're interchangeable. You can put all the same parts from 55 into a 69 motor. It's all interchangeable. So they consider that as being the same thing. The heads are the same way. Panhead's a panhead's a panhead. It doesn't matter if it's outside oiler, internal oiler, who cares? Bigger fin, small fin. Everything was available in 55, so it makes no difference. I'll let you run any panhead head. So there you go. So I can run a 69 case generator with any panhead that Harley made. Now I can do whatever I want to them, modified wise. So this case has an extra 1 1/8 added to it, and a little bit more length this way, and that's 100% legal. That's a legal vintage motor. This is a legal vintage motor, which is my other one I was working on. It is called a panhead left case, 45 trike right case, twin cam crank, top fuel cylinders, K model lifter, blocks and lifters. It's got KR cams in it, and it's got a 45 cam cover on it. That's a 100% legal motor on the lower end part. It gives me a 4-cam big twin motor, which I like. This has already been approved. Now I have to run a panhead head on top, which means I have to go to a panhead, go grab a panhead someplace. Oh, there's one. And I can go in there and, whatever, do what I want to it. Cut it up, weld it up, remachine it, put it back together, and it's a legal head to put on top of my legal motor. So these are the rules at work too. So right now I'm building 3 motors. I'm doing a 100-inch motor, 120-inch motor, and a 180-inch motor. This was going to be my 180-inch motor because I didn't want to go modifying this too much, and then I can make it a 120 pretty easy. So I was leaning that direction. This motor here, it's already highly butchered, so it doesn't really matter what I do to it. So I was leaning this toward it being a 180-inch motor. The problem is that the pinion shaft I need is only available for a pro stock Harley drag bike. And I don't know anybody has a pinion shaft out of a pro stock drag bike that they want to get rid of cheap. And I don't want to spend 800 or 1,000 bucks for a new one, if they're even made right now. That's the other problem. So if anybody knows about a pro stock drag bike pinion shaft availability, they're still racing those bikes right now. They're called Buell bikes, if you didn't know what they were. And I could use a pinion shaft out of one. I don't care about anything else about that motor. So that's because I'm running a 4-cam motor, and a Buell motor is a 4-cam motor. In case you didn't know, it's based off a Sportster. Alright, so right now this is my mock-up motor. Somewhere around here I got a set of billet heads that were supposed to fit on these cylinders. I picked up the cylinders a pretty good deal on. He basically gave them to me because I had a use for them. And so they fit this motor. I had a set of rods on the shelf that seemed to fit this motor because I mocked it up with this 7.690 rod, and it happens to work with these cylinders and those pistons I had over here, which is a twin cam piston out of something. So, and it all seems to be about the right height. That's called mock-up. Until you put together, you don't know what you can use or not use. As you get one more part, you see if things fit. So I'm pretty good at making things fit. So as you can tell, damaged part. Oh, they fit together now. So that's what we're doing. We're mocking up. This motor has no alternator in it, so you'll be driving on a battery only. I don't know how far you can go, so it's not going to be a touring bike. You can run on the street for about an hour or so, unless you got a really big battery. You can run a couple hours. After that, you're done. So that's what we have here. Luckily, I don't ride very far, so I'm good with that. A couple hours at 100 miles an hour, you can go pretty far. That is until you get pulled over, and then you don't go very far after that. Okay, so we're going to put the crank back in here. Now I want to go to a 5-inch rod instead of this short rod. And I'll make shins going on its cylinders to move them up a little bit. Because a 5-inch stroke with a short rod is not too good. So that's kind of torn between doing that or not. And right now I think I'm going to go with not. Because I don't have a rod to use. I have these rods right here I can lock up. These are 8-inch long rods, which I want to go to, but these have a 7/8 wrist pin, which is not a Harley size. And these are 927 pins, which I'm trying to find a set of 927 small crank pin 8-inch rods, which I don't have. So anybody got a set of those laying around? I can use a set. In case you don't know what a small crank pin is, it's called 1.25 inches. That's a small crank pin, stock size. I have twin cam rods, but twin cam rods have a huge pin. They're 1/671, I think, is the size, which is a lot bigger than 1/250. S&S like the 1.5 inch diameter, which is 1.500, and there's a lot of that stuff floating around. But I don't have any small pin, long, and big pin up here, because most Evo rods, which is this size down here, used 800 thou pin. So that's my problem right now. I don't have a set of rods to use. Not a major problem, but it's enough for a mock-up to not worry about it for now. Did I leave something out? No. Case is just tight. So we're going to go ahead and mock this thing back up again. Wipe out the chips so I don't get crap in here. Machine chips aren't needed in here. Now all this mix and matching is fun for me. I like doing this kind of crap a lot. And then I have to get to use all my tools. I like that too. That's fun. That's a challenge. I like challenges. And no, I'm not going to work on your stupid job bike. So this is fun for me. I like doing this. Okay, so the mock-up we did last time, we found out that the washer between the Timken barrier was too short, didn't have enough in play. So we went up 2 thou or 1.5 thou, I forget what it was. So I'm going to put that together. We find this stuff out on mock-up. because as we press it in and out, we do other things too. Okay. You also got to make sure both rods go in 2 separate holes. Remember I did that before? 1 rod, 2 rods, 1 hole. It doesn't work very good. Need a tool. Now this shaft is also bad. It screws up my tool a little bit, which I didn't like. That's another problem. Going on here. Something got tight, so you stop, readjust things, it loosens up, it goes back down easier again. Something bound up there for a minute. Now it's nice and loose. We still have no in play. I went up 2 thou. So those bearings take a lot more clearance than we got still. Alright. So next time I take it apart, we're going to add more shim in there again until it gets loose. I think we're up to a 12 thou washer in that. And normally you run somewhere between 5 and 9. 10 on the outside. Well, I'm already at 12, so I guess I'll have to go up to like a 14 or 15 next time. We'll bump it up. So that's one more thing. The next time I do it, I'm going to do that. Now this has a Timken bearing over here on both sides. See, Timken bearing. It also has a ball bearing in there too. There's a ball bearing on this side. Timken on this side. So that's another thing they used to do back in the day to get better, stronger bearings. So you got double Timkens. The new bike, they complain there's no Timkens. I got 2 Timkens. There you go. Damn, it's getting heavier. The rods still don't fit inside this flywheel, so I can't rotate them all the way around because these rods are too tall right here. They're getting all damaged from me keep jamming in the flywheel. So because these don't fit. So obviously they didn't use this brand of rod, which is Jim's. So maybe Corellas are made differently. I don't know. Okay, there we go. We're back together. I'm not going to use these rods right now. We could, but I'm not going to. Alright, where's my bolts? Of course, I'll probably take this thing back apart again and do it, change them out, but for now I'm leaving it the way it is. That doesn't go there. There. That one goes there. Okay. I'm going to wear the hardware out going back and forth. Okay, so now I picked up another piston, another junk one. Not sure what bore it is, don't really care. Okay, this is the one we have now. Okay, see the compression height is almost identical, but this one's a little bit taller right here, not counting the dome. The compression height is taller than this one. Compression height is the wrist pin, center wrist pin, the top of the dome, or not dome, top of piston. Dome is never considered a top. Top is on the side over here. Okay, so there's another different piston to play with. So now we got two pistons, because I only had one before. This one here doesn't appear to work very well, so I'm going to have to go in here and hone this out so I can have this go in and out. This is probably a smaller bore. Yeah, this looks like about a 4-inch bore piston. Yeah, it's 4-inch bore. Cylinders are 4 1/4, so that's all right. It'll work. It's close enough for me. I don't care. All right, so we got a piston. We got a cylinder. Cylinder goes down all the way. There we go. The motor rotates. Look at that. Piston sticks up too high, so the compression height is too high. Remember, this one sticks up higher yet. So that needs to come up a little bit. So right now this is a 142 cubic inch motor, in case you don't remember last video. So 5-inch stroke with a 4 1/4 bore makes you 142 cubes. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and knock this piston pin out of here, get the clip out, hone this out so I can put a pin in there. Oh, this has a 9/27 rods in it. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's because these are gems. Yeah, duh. Okay, so I can mock them up with the correct pin. Alright, so I'm going to get this clip out of here and go hone this real quick. And we'll be back. Alright, we're back. So, I got the wrist pin to go back and forth now. So I had to rehone that. Together. So this is the cylinder we had to modify because it was damaged. Boom! It goes right down like it's supposed to now. Alright. Now that one sticks up quite a bit higher than we need. Probably a good solid 50 thou more. So there you go. So I've got a pair of pistons to mock up with. So I can't turn the motor over because the rods hit the flywheel. I haven't fixed that problem. Maybe we got to cut the rod, no. Or we got to cut the flywheel, yeah, maybe. So, haven't got that far yet. Okay, so now until I find my heads, which I can't find, because some dumbass went and hid them from me. That'd be me. More than likely I took them out to the mountains and put them in the storage with all the car shit I've been hauling out of here. Because I knew I wasn't going to ever need them. Wrong. So once I find my car heads, yeah. Once I find the heads I got, I'll put them on here. And then I can go ahead and throw some cam and stuff in there and mock it up and see how it all looks. But right now, this rod will work. I can get a piston made this bore size will work. Ultima has some pistons that are the correct bore size. I'm trying to get a set of those without buying them right now. So next week I might have those. If I do, I'll put those in here and mock them up. And if they match up pretty closely, we're going to stay with this rod and run the Ultima pistons in it. And that'll give me a cheap set of pistons to use without doing custom. And I can put a motor together relatively easy then. It's always nice if you can save money and do it cheaper. So, alright, so for now, I got, at least I got something going. It's a lot more I used to have, which just set of blown up cases. So now I got a possible motor right now. So, there you go. And you know it's a performance motor. It says so right on the side of it. See? Boom. Alright, so that's it for now on this one. It's mocked up as far as we're going to get to right now.